Good day everyone, it's me Gary. Today we're going to talk about, in celebration of the Pride Month, we're going to talk about LGBT. And before we start, I'd like to invite everyone watching to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click on the subscribe button and the bell button so that you'll be able to get my latest videos. So our topic for today is about LGBT. Ayan, in line with the celebration of the Pride Month this June. Ayan, tuwing June po, nagsiselebrate po ang ating mga kaibigan sa LGBT community ng kanilang tinatawag na Pride Month. Ayan, so we are able to enjoin them to celebrate equality, equity. Ayan, sa mga kaibigan po nating mga LGBT. Ito ba ang LGBT? If we're going to complete all the letters, ito po yan, mas mahaba-haba po yan. It would be LGBPTTQQIIAA. And any combination of letters attempting to represent all the identities in the queer community. Dito po ngayon lalabas, this would be represented by lesbian, gay, bisexual, pansexual, transgender, transsexual, queer, questioning, intersex, intergender, asexual, at saka yung ally. When we talk about gender identity, on the other end of the poles, andyan po yung man at saka woman. In between, you have the gender queer. Ang gender identity is how you, in your head, think about yourself. It's the chemistry that composes you, different hormonal levels, and how you interpret what that, ano ang nasa isip mo as a man or as a woman. Paano na-establish yung identity mo? It's all in your mind. Ikaw mag-decide yan. Meron naman tayong tinatawag na gender expression. You have the male and you have the female. In between, androgynous. Yan. Gender expression is how you demonstrate your gender based on traditional gender roles through the ways you act, dress, behave, and interact. Paano mo manamit? Paano yung actuations mo? Paano yung behavior mo? The way you interact with people. Masculine ba? Panlalaki? O feminine? Pambabae? Or androgynous? Hindi ma-determine. Mamaya pag-uusapan natin yan. You also have your biological sex. Male, female. In between, you have the intersex. Biological sex refers to the objectively measurable organs, hormones, and chromosomes. So, ang mga female, you have your vagina, ovaries, and the X and X chromosomes. For males, you have your penis, you have your testes, and the X and Y chromosomes. Sa intersex, combination of the two. Meron silang organs, hormones, and chromosomes. For females, meron din sila for males. Naghalo. That's why they will be categorized as intersex. They also have sexual orientation. On the other pole, you have heterosexual. On the other hand, you have homosexual. Sa gitna, you have your bisexual. Sexual orientation is who you are physically, spiritually, and emotionally attracted to based on your sex and gender in relation to your own. Ano yung gender mo? So, paano ka na-attract physically, spiritually, and emotionally to other people? Pwedeng heterosexual, pwedeng homosexual, pwedeng bisexual. When we say heterosexual, we're talking about your gender attracted to the opposite gender. Pag homosexual naman, your gender attracted to the same gender as you are. Pag bisexual, yung dalawa. Pag-usapan natin yun mamaya. Then we have heterosexism. Heterosexism is a system of oppression which privileges heterosexuals and discriminates against lesbian, gays, and bisexual people. So, noong una po, pag ikaw ay heterosexual, you are privileged. Right? You would be able to have privileges. Okay? Heterosexism presents homosexuality as abnormal, sick, unnatural, sinful, and criminal. Dati po sa DSM, the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, kasama po ang homosexuality sa abnormal behavior. And ito po, good news. Nung DSM 1 and 2, meron po yan, pero nung pumasok na po ang DSM 3, DSM 4TR, at ang DSM 5, hindi na po kasama ang homosexuality sa abnormal behavior. Ibig sabihin, hindi na po abnormal ang pagiging homosexual. Let's define. Ano ba yung gay? Ano ba yung mga natin yan? Gay is an adjective used to describe people whose enduring physical, romantic, and emotional attraction are to people of the same sex. Usually, sa mga lalaki po yan. They label it for homosexual gay sa mga lalaki who are also attracted with the same gender. Sa mga lalaki rin po sila nagkakagusto. You also have the lesbian. A lesbian is defined as a homosexual woman or a woman who is sexually attracted to other women. So, si babae, attracted din po siya sa mga babae. The woman whose sexual orientation is to women also. So, si babae, ang kanyang orientation is for women. Para sa babae rin ang kanyang to have a partner. Babae rin ang kanyang gusto. Then there is the bisexual, pansexual, and the androgynous. Yung kanina pong sinasabi natin. Bisexual is being sexually attracted to both genders. So, ang isang bisexual po, attracted po siya sa isang lalaki, male, and of course, attracted din po siya sa mga female, sa mga babae. So, the person can have a relationship with both males and females. Ang mga pansexual naman po, they're being capable of having romantic feelings and attraction to males, females, and the third gendered individuals. Ang pansexual pwedeng ma-attract sa male, pwedeng ma-attract sa female, at saka yung third gendered individual. Sino po yung mga third gendered individual na yan? Third gender is a gender identity. If someone is of the third gender, they are considered neither male nor female, whether it's by their will or by social consensus. They chose it. Whether by their will or the society pushed them to have. Pero hindi sila ma-identify as male or female. In short, androgynous sila. They are neither specifically feminine nor masculine. So, hindi mo siya mabigyan ng actual label kasi androgynous nga sila. Part of the third gender. Right? You also have this transgender. Refers to people whose gender expression is not in accordance with society's expectation for their biological sex. They have their own ways of gender expression, but it is not in accordance to how the society sees them. So, transgender, ang alam, lalaki at babae, si transgender, opposed. Hindi yung ine-expect mo na gagawin niya based on the gender that the person has. Gagawin niya yung opposite. So, kung lalaki yan, ang expressions niya, ang expression niya, pambabae. Kung babae naman siya, opposite naman. Transgender. Okay? Iba po yan sa gender queer. Si gender queer, described as a person who feels that the identity does not fit into a socially constructed norm associated with the biological gender. So si transgender, it's more of the emotions. Si gender queer naman, the way social constructs are formed. So, the society has its norms. Ito ang dapat na ginagawa ng lalaki, suot niya dapat ganitong kulay. Ito ang kulay ng pambabae. Ito ang damit at ayos ng lalaki. Ganito queer. He would be doing what is in the middle. He would not be doing what is assigned, supposed to be to the person for the biological sex. Gender queer is an identity that falls anywhere between man, boy, or male, and woman, girl, or female in the spectrum of the gender identities. Nasa gitna po sila. Then there are people who are questioning. This term describes someone who is questioning their sexual orientation or gender identity. Hindi pa po nag-out. Hindi pa po nagre-reveal. Questioning pa, nagtatanong. After the person decides on what gender they would be able to come out. Diyan po minsan lumalabas yung tinatawag niyo pong late bloomer. Late na po siyang out. But the point is, during the duration, the person is questioning. They're trying to ask, to describe them na, teka, bakit parang hindi siya lalaking-lalaki? Hindi siya parang babaeng-babae? May questions that would arise for them. Yun yung questioning na tinatawag natin. Now, we also have the intersexual bodies. Ayan po yung tinatawag natin herms, mga merms, at saka mga firms. Hermaphrodite, yan po yung mga herms. They possess one testis and one ovary. So, meron sila pareho ng panlalaki at saka ng pambabae. The sperm and egg producing vessel and gonads, meron pareho doon sa isang tao. Kaya ang label sa kanya, herm or hermaphrodite. Meron din pong tinatawag na mga merm, male pseudo-hermaphrodites. They have testes and some aspects of the female genitalia but they don't have ovaries. May testes, may female genitalia pero walang ovaries. Hindi po siya pwedeng mabuntis kasi wala po siyang ovaries. Okay? Siya po yung tinatawag na male hermaphrodite. Male with female genitalia but without ovaries. The firm female pseudo-hermaphrodites, they have ovaries and they have some aspects of the male genitalia but they don't have the testes. Ito naman po, hindi po siya pwedeng makabuntis. Okay, because the person doesn't have the testes, although meron siyang male genitalia. Yan po yung mga tinatawag nating mga intersexual body. Then you have the transsexuals. Transsexuals are people who have become other than their birth sex. Some use hormones to become others, and some also have surgery to legally become other than their birth sex. Clarify po natin, hindi po sila mga bakla. Palagay po natin ganito, lalaki sila na nasa katawan ng babae, or babae sila na nasa katawan ng lalaki. That is why their actuation is somewhat soft, or the behavior that they would be manifesting is of the opposite gender. Although, the physical body tells that they are male or female. Okay? Kaya yung iba po, gumagamit po ng hormones so that they would become more feminine. So, lalaki, pag nag-take ng hormones, they become more feminine. The female naman, the same. Kaya lang ito, mag-iingat po sa mga kaibigan yung nag-take ng hormones. Baka po magkaroon ng side effects because the human body is still male and female. Halimbawa po, lalaki, nag-take na female hormone, lalaki pa rin po ang make-up niya, yung katawan niya. And taking hormones might have some side effects for them. Palpitation, mga hypertensive. Yun po yung madalas na lumalabas sa mga transsexuals. In order for them to be able to resolve their issues, babae ang pag-iisip, lalaki ang katawan, they would do hormones. Or, pwede silang magkaroon ng gender reassignment surgery. Pwede po silang magpa-opera so that their gender would be altered. Okay? Pwede magpakabit or pwede magpatanggal ng genitalia. Right? Magpapalagay ng genitalia or nagpapatanggal ng genitalia so that they would be able to presume. Yung iba po, partial transsexual, yung nagkakaroon na po ng breast augmentation. They do breast augmentation para magbuka ng babae yung feature nila. So, once that they were able to convert, to be able to go to the other, it's now time for them to be legally recognized as of the other gender aside from other than their birth sex. Okay? Transsexual po yan. Then you also have the transvestites. Those who dress in the clothing of the opposite sex and from whom that dressing is sexually exciting. Nagsusuot po sila ng damit of the opposite sex and they find it to be sexually exciting. Yun po yung mga transvestites. Not necessarily that they're gay or lesbian, but they prefer to be sexually satisfied or their sexual excitement when they would wear the opposite gender or the opposite sex clothes. Yun po yung tinatawag nating transvestites. We also have asexuality. As an asexual person, this is a person who does not experience any form of sexual attraction. Di siya na-attract sa lalaki, walang attraction sa babae, or even to the third gender, sa whoever, wala. There is no experience of sexual attraction. Ang tawag po dyan, asexual. Alright? That is asexuality. And last one, nandyan yung ally. Anyone, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity, pwede pong tayo yan. Who would support lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or LGBT people. Alay tao sa nakakampi. They're the ones who is giving full support of them being lesbian or them being gay, bisexual, or transgender. Ikaw yung kaibigan niya na maaasahan niya na nandyan for them. Okay? Irregardless of sexual orientation or identity. That's an ally. That is also the preferred gender pronouns. Traditional masculine, we use he, him, his, himself. Traditional feminine use she, her, hers, herself. Then it became gender neutral. Diyan na po pumasok they, I, yung them, yung their, themselves. Plural nila pero singular they ang gamit. Okay? And later on it evolved. Naging gender neutral na. The word used is they. Right? Zila. I called here. Yung here niya pinaghalong he at saka her. Right? Tignan nyo, his eyes gleam, her eyes gleam, their eyes gleam, naging here eyes gleam. And here's na ang ginagamit. Kaya if you're wearing Z likes yourself, that's very gender neutral. Bakit kailangan yung gender neutral ngayon? We have to give respect to people in the LGBT community. Halimbawa, tulad ng common ng mga butch, lesbian na butch, hindi mo alam kung ano ito tawag mo, kung ate o kuya. It's always nice to ask their preference of address. Kung anong gusto nilang itawag sa kanila. Kung ayaw nilang kuya at ate, siguro pwedeng pangalan nila. But the thing is, we have to be able to give respect whenever we try to address them. That is preferred gender pronoun. Okay? Then there's the real life experience. The act of fully adopting a new or evolving gender role for the events and processes of everyday life is known as the real life experience. Nag-adapt na siya to the entirety of the gender role. Kung ano man yon, it's his or her real life experience. Kasama rin po with the real life experience is essential to the transition process to the gender role that confirms with personal gender identity. Transition. How would people in the society be able to accept them? How they would be able to come about when they would be able to confirm the gender role that they chose. Since changing one's gender role has immediate, profound personal and social consequences, the decision to do so should be preceded by an awareness of what the family, vocational, interpersonal, educational, economic, and legal consequences are likely to be. Remember, if they would choose to be able to come out, to be able to have surgery, there would always be consequences. Family, vocation, interpersonal, economics, educational, and even legal consequences. They would have to consult to professionals before they would be able to undergo such process. Counselors, psychologists, therapists, they would have the responsibility to discuss these predictable consequences. I-explain ng maigi before they would be able to come out. Kaya nga, even sa mga schools, di ba, pag mga early signs na merong gender confusion yung bata, the guidance office would be handling them. If they would do that in their mature stages, they could seek counseling and psychotherapy so that they would be able to make a very crucial decision and they would be able to look into the predictable consequences that they would be able to have. There is also the parameter of the real life experience. The following ability should also be reviewed. They have to look into this. Kasi pag nagbago sila ng gender nila o kaya in later life or meron time in their life that they decided to have another preference, they have to maintain full or part-time employment. Paano yung trabaho? Yeah? There are some jobs specifically designed for males or females. So kung meron man job, it should be gender equated. Walang pinipiling gender as long as they could perform the job that is presented to them. The same way with their function as a student. To function in community-based volunteer activity, okay? To undertake some combination of items from 1 to 3. Pag kinombine nyo yun, are they be able to function? Ito mga legality na to acquire a new legal first or last name, kailangan makapagpalit siya legally so that it would be recognized that it is her or him. Then to provide documentation that persons other than the therapist know that the patient functions in the new gender role. Right? May document. Ito na siya ngayon as a female. Yung pinagdaanan niya, siya ba yun? To consistently view na ito nga siya noon at ito siya ngayon and they are the same person. So those are the parameters that you would be able to look into the real life experience. And there you have it, our topic for today, LGBT. Happy Pride Month to our LGBT friends. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click on the subscribe button and the bell button so you will be able to get my latest videos. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. Alam na dis.